Hello, so today we're going to do a lesson on surface area of composite shapes. I know we just did the volume, but this time we're going to look at how do we figure out how to cover an object where it's not like really simple like a cube or a rectangular prism. It's gonna be like two shapes that are like put together, and I'm gonna show you a strategy for that because it's kind of difficult to just use the standard formulas that you're given. So try and do it this way instead of using the formulas. When you use the formulas, people tend to double count sides or miss sides. But in this case, if we follow this strategy, you should be able to find the entire surface area without making too many mistakes. So in order to do this, what I want you to think of when you have a shape like this is to think of it unfolded. So kind of like you have a cereal box and you've unfolded it. If you see beside here, I have a cube, and beside it, I have the cube, like a representation of the cube unfolded, or what's called a net. And you can see all the different sides of that cube. So when you fold it up, it gives the shape of a cube instead of it flattened out. But the flattened out part is kind of what we want to work with because you can see all the different little pieces. And what we're going to do is find the area of each single piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then the strategy is then once you have all those little areas, we're going to add them all together. So let's see how it's done with this example. And we're going to go back to that shed example that I used in the previous lesson. So we're going to find the surface area of this shed. The very first thing I want you to do is unfold it. It's really helpful if you're able to draw it flattened out, and then you can see all the different sides. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the middle. So here's the bottom of the shed. It has a side or a back that looks like that with the triangle on the top, and it also has a front with the triangle on top. We have the two sides. And then we have the roof, and I'm going to put the roof over the two sides. And then you can imagine if I fold this back up, it's going to make the shape of the shed. All right, sometimes I will also put the measurements on it. I'm going to change these just like I did in the last one to meters. 0.895 meters, because then the numbers are a little bit smaller, and 0.79 meters. And so the one thing we kind of have to do, I'm going to have to split this one up, that's fine, is kind of write down where all your measurements are. This here's the 0.79. Across this is the 3.1. Let's zoom in a bit. Along the side here is the 2.895. And then this part that goes up is the 2.02. So that helps us kind of see where everything is. Okay, so let's start. I like to label them. So I'm going to start here in the middle. We'll do the bottom. We'll do the two sides. Then we'll do the roof. So we'll do 4 and 5. We'll do 6 and 7, and those are the same, so we got 2 of them. So let's start with area 1. And it's just a rectangle, which is length times width. So super easy. 3.1 times 2.895. 8.9745. Okay, so that's number 1 done. Let's do 2 and 3. They're the same. Another rectangle, which is just length times width, which is 2.02 times 2.895. So you can see the 2.02 actually goes to that as well. And that's 5.8479. Area 3 is the same. So we've already figured that one out. Area 4 and 5, we have to kind of figure out. What I don't know is the length of that, and we can easily figure that out using our Pythagorean theorem. So if we just do 0.79 and then half of that 3.1, and then we can find out the length of that using c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So 0.79 squared plus 1.55 squared. And if you figure that out, and we take the square root of it, we get that c is 1.74. So that means that side is 1.74. So you can't, sometimes you have to do a couple little extra calculations kind of to figure it out, especially with circles and cylinders. You're going to have to find the circumference, but you'll see when you get there. So we're going to do area 4 and 5. And again, it's just a rectangle, and they're the same. So 2.895 again, but times our 1.74 that we found out. Which gives us 5.0373. Area 4 is the same. And the last thing to do is find out area 6 and 7. And we have 2 that are the same as area 6 and 2 the same as area 7. So again, it's just a rectangle for area 6, which is 2.02 times 3.1. Which is 6.262. And we have 2 of those, so I'm going to times it by 2. 12.524. And area 7 is that triangle bit that's right at the top, which is base times height divided by 2. Our base is 3.1. Our height 0.79, and we'll divide it by 2. Which is 1.2245 for that little triangle bit. And again, we have 2 of those. So we get 2.449. Okay, so now that we have all the little pieces, we've got there the bottom, the 2 sides, A2 and A3 are the 2 sides, A4 and A5 are the top, and then A6 and 7, 2 of those combined are the front and the back. So once you have all the little pieces, which weren't that hard to do, they were just length times width, we're going to add them up. So your area total, we're just going to add them up. So if you add A1 plus A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 this part of it, and A7 this part of it, then we should have the total surface area. So I will do that. Plus 5.8479. I'm adding 4 and 5. And now I'm going to add 6 and 7. $2.449. And I get a total of 45.68. And because of surface area, this is in meters squared. So that is kind of the strategy. When we do these, guys, I'm looking to see that you're that you've done the proper process and that your answer is somewhere close to mine. I know it's a lot of little steps, and sometimes we make little mistakes. I even make little mistakes, but if you're doing the correct process and finding all the little pieces and then adding them up, your answer should be close to what mine is. Anyways, there's practice for you, so have fun.